Now friends, we have a question based on quadratic equation. Here the equation is given to us and the roots of these equations are m and n. We have to find out the quadratic equation whose roots are 1 upon m square and 1 upon n square. You can very well go by the regular method. Problem is not going to be that difficult, hardly it will take 1 minute, or alternatively what you can do, you can choose a comfortable value of the roots of the equation, right? That means you can frame your own equation and you can make the comparison, right? Suppose I choose the roots to be 1 and 2, then my equation will be x squared minus 3x plus 2, right? And the value of m and n is 1 and 2, right? Now I have to frame the new equation whose roots are 1 upon m square and 1 upon n square. That means 1 upon m square will be 1 and 1 upon n square will be 1 upon 4. Now the equation will be x square minus sum of the roots, that is 5 by 4. So I write it over here, and plus product of the roots, that's 1 by 4, right? So that's 1 and by 4. So this is the quadratic equation we are looking for, right? Now if we put the values of a, b, c among the in the options, and let's see in which of the option I get this expression, right? A is 1 over here, b is minus 3, and c is 2 over here, if we can make the comparison between these two, right? Now I just check in the first option, c square, that's 4, that's correct. This is wrong. And then I have to get the coefficient of x as minus 5. So let's see, b square is 9 minus 2 ac, that's 4. So I'll be getting this as minus 5. Then a square, a is 1, a square. So this first equation is matching perfectly. That is, we are getting 4x square minus 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. So this is the correct answer, right? So either you can go for the regular method, or if you can smartly choose the value of the roots, then you can simplify your problem, or it will be taking less time. I hope you are getting me. Now, how many ordered pairs A and B exist such that when their sum is subtracted from their product, the resultant is 52? Their sum is subtracted from their product, that means AB minus A plus B, and the result is 52. So what I can do is AB minus A minus B. I wish to factorize it, so what I can do, A, if I take common, it will be B minus 1. So what I do, I add 1 both the sides, right? Now it's A, B minus 1, B minus 1 is 53. That means A minus 1 and B minus 1, their product is 53, right? Now we have to find out the ordered pair. That means A minus 1 and B minus 1, their multiplication should be 53 into 1, obviously. So A minus 1 can be 53 and B minus 1 can be 1, or A minus 1 can be 1 and B minus 1 can be 53, because 53 is a prime number, so there is no other way to get the product as 53, right? So we can make two ordered pair over here. You don't have to actually calculate the value of A and B, right? You have to find out the number of ordered pairs. So there will be 2. Okay, I'm sure you are getting me. A minus 1 is 53 and B minus 1 is 1, or A minus 1 is 1 and B minus 1 is 53, right? So there are 2 ordered pairs. Yeah. Now friends, let's try this problem. If the roots of equation are in geometric progression, then which of the following relationship is true? Now friends, this is a cubic equation and the roots are in geometric progression. So rather than you go manually, what you can do, you just frame an equation whose roots are in geometric progression. Suppose my roots are 1, 2 and 4, right? Now how do I frame a cubic equation? It's x cube minus sum of the roots in and x square, 4 plus 2, 6 and 1, 7x square. Sum of the roots in pairs, so that's 4 into 2, 8 plus 2 plus 4. So 8 into 10 plus 4, 14x, minus product of the roots, that's 4 into 2 into 1, that's 8. Now A is 1, B is minus 7, C is 14 and D is minus 8. Now let's see where they are satisfied. AC square, A into C square, that's 14 square, and here it's B square into D. So 7 square, 14 square is 196 and 7 square 49 into 8. So that's not 196, the unit digit is coming to be 2, so this option is incorrect. AC cube, forget A, C cube is what? 8 cube. sorry, C cube is what? 14 cube. B cube is here 7 cube into B cube D. B cube is 7 cube and D cube is 8, right? So that's 7 cube into 2 cube. That means they are matching. That means this is the correct option. Okay, I'm sure you are clear. You don't have to worry about minus plus sign, because and other options also we need to have C cube and B cube. This is a term, right? So AC cube is equal to B cube D. That is the correct choice. I hope you are clear. Similarly, friends, various other questions are asked when the roots are in arithmetic progression, or maybe roots are in geometric progression, harmonic progression. So what you can do is you take the comfortable values of the roots and frame the equation like this, right? I just write the general formula for a cubic equation, that is x cube minus sum of roots into x square plus sum of roots in pairs into x minus product of the roots, right? That means x cube minus sigma a x square plus sigma ab x minus abc, right? This is a general format for a cubic equation. So directly you can put the value, okay? And always choose the positive roots. So the equation will be framed like this, right? So one sign will be positive, then negative, then positive, then negative. So it will be very easy for you to calculate, right? If you choose one of the root positive and other as negative, then there will be a plus minus sign difference over there. So that may lead to difficulty, right? So just choose the roots positive and proceed like this. So whenever you are asked about the roots in geometric or maybe harmonic or maybe AP, GP, whatever, right? Whatever the conditions are there, you can solve the problem easily, right? And now friends, we have a problem based on time and work. In a project that requires a total of 8 man days, the manpower requires is X on the first day. On the second, fourth, sixth and eighth day, only half the manpower that worked on the previous day remains, while on the third, fifth and seventh day, 1/3 of the manpower remaining on the previous day is asked to leave. Which of the following best describes X if only one person works on the project on the last day? Now there are 8 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On 8th day, one person is working, right? And on the 8th day, the manpower is half of the previous day, right? Only half the manpower that works on the previous day remains. That means on the 7th day, 2 people are working, right? And on the 7th day, uh, 1/3 of the manpower remaining on the previous day is asked to leave. That means 2/3 people are working, right? That means after 6 days, 2/3 people are working. That means on the 6th day, 3 people were working, right? So on the 7th day, 2/3 of 3, that is 2 people are working, right? I hope you are getting me. Then on the 5th, at the end of the 5th day, on the 6th day, the manpower is half of the previous day. That means this is 6. Okay. Similarly, on the 5th day, the manpower was 2/3 of the previous, because 1/3 are leaving. So 2/3 of 9 is 6. So it's 9. On the 4th day, half of the previous were working. So it's 18. Then it is 2/3 of 27 is 18, so it's 27, and this is on the second day, half of the previous, that means it is 54, right? So simply without making any sort of equations, you can do this question. I'm sure you are getting me. Now friends, let's see this problem. X minus 1 whole square is 16 and x plus y plus 2 raised to 4 is 81. What is the maximum value of xy? To get the maximum value of xy from these two expressions, we need to find out the negative values of either both of xy should be negative or both of them should be positive, right? So x minus 1 whole square is plus minus 4 or minus 4. So x must be either 5 or minus 3, right? Now friends, here x plus y plus 2 raised to 4 is 81. That means this entire expression is 3. That means x plus y must be 1. Now, if x plus y is 1 or x plus y plus 2 raised to 4, that means x plus y can be 1 or x plus y can be minus 5 also, right? So minus 5 plus 2 raised to 4 will be 81. Now friends, as I've already told you, either both of them should be positive or both of them should be negative, then only we'll be getting the maximum value of xy. Now suppose I choose x as 5, then y will be positive but y will be negative but x will be positive. So we will be getting the negative value, right? So what I need to do, I need to take the negative value of x. So if x is minus 3, y will be minus 2, right? So minus 3 into minus 2, that is the maximum value of xy, that is 6. Okay? I hope you are clear. Now friends, we have a problem based on geometry. Triangle ABC is inscribed in a circle with center O and radius root 6 cm. From a point T, two tangents are drawn touching the circle at A and C respectively. If angle ACT is 45, what is the area of triangle ACT? I just draw the diagram. Wait a moment. Now friends, here we have the figure. This is center O. Here it is A and B and C. From a point T, two tangents touching the circle A and C respectively. ACT, that means this angle is 45 degree. And we have to find out the area of triangle ACT, right? Now friends, as we know, if we draw any tangent from a point that outside the circle, the length of both the tangents is same. So this length is equal to this length. Now this is the radius, so this length will be equal to this length. This angle will be 90 degree because the angle between radius and the tangent is 90 degree. Similarly, this complete angle will be 90 degree, right? This complete angle. Okay, only this portion is 45 degree. That means this remaining portion is also 45 degree. Now what? This portion is 45 degree. This portion will also be of 45 degree. That means this portion must be of 90 degree. Now if it is 90 degree, then we can say 90 degree, 90 degree and 90 degree. That means this angle must also be of 90 degree. If we talk about OATC, it's a quadrilateral. This angle 90 degree, this angle 90 degree, this angle 90 degree, that means this must be 90 degree, right? Now these two sides are same. That means OACT is a square, right? And AC is the diagonal, right? The diagram is not drawn to scale, but conceptually we are clear that OATC is a square and AC is the diagonal. That means half of the portion of AC will be a triangle and half of the portion of the AC will be a triangle, of this square will be a triangle. Now we can calculate the area of the square very easily because side length we are given, that is the radius of the circle, that is root 6. So area of the square will be 6, right? That means area of this half of the triangle will be, half of the square will be 3, right? So no much paperwork is required. We just have to use a very small concept over here, okay? Now friends, we have this question, which of the following are factors of 3 raised to 259 plus 2 raised to 296? Now 16 can obviously be not a factor because 16 is factor of 2 raised to 296, right? But this is an odd number, so an odd plus an even will produce an odd number. So 16 cannot be factor of an odd number, right? So we eliminated 16. Now we are left with 349 and 2443. Now friends, see, this sort of questions whenever are asked, there must be a common power. Common power means that means be an odd power or an even power, right? That means the format is a raised to odd plus b raised to same odd number, or a raised to even minus b raised to even, right? Then only this sort of problems are possible to be solved. So here this portion, this minus is not there, so we cannot get the factorization of this. So it has to be an odd number. That means we will be able to get a power that is an odd number, right? So I just try to explain. See, 296, if I divide by 8, 8 3s are 24, 5 8 7s are. So 37 is the power that is there in 2 raised to 296, right? So it can be written as 2 raised to 8 into 37. And I'm sure 259 will be multiple of 37. So if I unit digit is 9 and here it is 37. So if I multiply 37 by 7, I'll be getting 259 for sure, right? That means it is what? 3 raised to 7 into 37, right? Now obviously this is 3 raised to 7 plus 2 raised to 8 will be a factor, right? 3 raised to 7 plus 2 raised to 8, because it is odd power of 3 raised to 7 and it is odd power of 2 raised to 8, right? And the power is same. So a plus b will be a factor. That means 3 raised to 7 plus 2 raised to 8 will be a factor. Now 3 raised to 7 will be what? It's 243 raised to 5 is 243. So it's 81. Yeah, it's just 7, so it's 9 only. So 243 into 9, that's 2187. So 2187 and 2 raised to 8 will be 2 raised to 6 is 64, 128, 256, right? So it's 3, 8 and 5, 13, 114 and this is 24. So 2443. That means 2443 is definitely a factor of this expression. Now we have to check whether 349 is also a factor of that or not. Now there is no other way, just one way is there, whether if 349 is factor of 2443, then 349 will definitely be a factor of this. Now unit digit is 3 and it is less than 10 because the 349 into 10 will be 3490. So it is less than 10 and unit digit is 3. So you just check for 349 into 7. Right, 7 nines are 63, 7 fours are 28 plus 6, 34, 3 threes are 9, sorry, 7 threes are 21, 3 24, so 2443. That means 349 is factor of 2443 and 2443 is factor of this. That means 349 and 2443, both of them are factor of this, right? So I hope you are clear. The option B is the correct choice. That means this is divisible by 349 and 2443. Okay. Now friends, we have this question based on geometry. In a circle, the distance between two parallel chords of length 6 and 8 centimeter is 7 centimeter. If the chords are on opposite sides of the center of the circle, what is the circumference of the circle? I just draw the diagram for you. Now friends, here is a diagram. The two chords are on opposite side of the center of the circle. Length of this is 6 and length of this is 8. So we know that if we drop the perpendicular from the center on the chord, it bisects the chord, right? That means if the entire length is 6, this must be 3. And if this entire length is 8, this must be 4. Now this complete length is 7, right? Now we know Pythagorean triplets, right? So if I have to make this 7, I can take this as 3 and this as 4, right? So this is 3, 4, 5 and this is also 3, 4, 5. So 5 and 5, both the radius are same. That means radius must be 5. If the radius is 5, what will be the circumference? That is 2 pi r. That is 2r into pi. R is 5, so it's 10 pi. As simple as that, right? Don't make any sort of equation for this breakup of 7, right? Just apply the common sense over here. That is, these three must be Pythagorean triplets. Okay, I hope you are clear.